Coming to you live from Mike's Bar and Grill in Berea. Welcome to the BW Athletics Roadshow on BWYellowJackets.com. Our weekly look at Yellow Jacket athletics, both taking a look at what happened the week prior and a preview of the upcoming week with some feature interviews with a couple of our student athletes and coaches. I'm Brendan Gulick, really happy to be joined right off the top of the show by our Director of Athletics at BW, Steve Thompson. And while it is always great to see you and it's always fun to talk with you, we're bringing you on for a slightly somber reason. We lost a member of our athletics family this week, Dave Tressel, who was a BW Athletic Hall of Famer. And frankly, for as much as he was a contributor to Yellow Jackets, both athletics and what he did for the university, he's a Hall of Fame guy and a substantial loss for the university. I know somebody that even in your limited time touched you.
Yeah, I think you said Hall of Fame guy is probably the best way you can put it. A little bit of chills going up my arms right now just when I think, you know, he was a guy, I accepted a job, started in June, and right from the jump we had a chance to meet a couple weeks after I started. And, you know, I'm moving from West Virginia to Berea, Ohio, and he's instantly making calls and trying to connect me with the community and trying to help me find a house. And just that was the type of guy he was, and as I've gotten over the last 48 hours or so to hear stories from other former athletes, some staff members I work with, right, some of our great coaches that tell stories that he was just a guy that was willing to listen to your problems and then wanted to try to help solve those problems for you, right? Just a guy that was a constant giver, and there ain't too many people like that. So Hall of Fame for sure, Hall of Fame type guy for sure.
It was amazing how he made you feel like you had his undivided attention.
Right.
I mean, he was so engaging in a conversation with you. Nothing else mattered. It was eye contact. It was the genuine way he listened to you. There was humor, but there was heart to it. I mean, just an A-plus guy.
Yeah, he was whatever you were talking about, he was engaged with, right? Whatever that might be, whether it was talking about my kids and he wanted to know about them or – I think back to I was blessed. I took my daughter to Hampton, Sydney for the football game there in September, and he drove down with a friend who I was just on a friend of his who I was just on the phone with, Gary Cole, and the stories they shared. And then all of a sudden my daughter gets to experience that at 10 years old, gets to interact, and Dave was asking questions like unbelievable, like never met, like to this day I just can't talk about how impactful that was to me, to see how engaged he was, how much he cared. And then when you look back on his impact in this community, not just to Baldwin-Wallace, right? We can talk for hours about his commitment to Baldwin-Wallace from the day he came here as a student, probably before that when his dad had him around campus running around, which I think is awesome, and what I want from my kids running around on this campus. But to the coaching and Kayla, who will be on later today, later on this episode, who was a swimmer for him. But Berea as a whole, 40-plus years coaching swimming, teaching teachers. And I said this on our story, the amount of people he impacted, the generational impact that we can sit here and talk that he had on the community. There ain't too many people that have that through their lifetime, and he is definitely one of them.
And I certainly don't want to sell him short, but at least for those who didn't know Dave, just a 10,000-foot view. Obviously, the Tressel family has its roots, now for, 70 years or so, maybe 80 years at Baldwin-Wallace, dating back to when Dave's father, Lee, was a football coach. Dave's dad graduated, I believe it was in 1948. And his mom graduated actually much later in 1972. Dave got his undergrad degree in 1973 and his Master of Arts Education 1978. He was basically an assistant swimming coach for a while, and that's kind of the capacity that a lot of our current student athletes may have recognized him in. And I can't wait to hear what Kayla has to say about Dave in just a bit here, because before the show briefly you could see it in her eyes how much Dave meant to her. Again, for a guy who has been a BW lifer and in a family, right, that is synonymous with football,
Right.
to make the impact in his own way in the swimming community, not just at BW, but with the city of Berea. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, he found his true calling, and I get just thinking about it, a little bit emotional, but when people find that the impact they can have on others is amazing. And again, you mentioned you're going to hear from Kayla. You look on Facebook, the people that reached out, like he was my teacher back in whatever grade, like they're all over the map. Is special about he found his own way. He wasn't just Lee's son, right? When that played an important part of his life, but then he found his way. That's what I wish for all our student athletes, that they find their way and then have that transformational impact on others. And Dave was the epitome of that.
We're going to miss him greatly, but wanted to make sure we had a chance to have you on to say some things about Dave and the impact he had. So.
Appreciate the opportunity, and I think it's important, and I'm sure you're probably going to do it because you're way smarter than me. But again, we're excited that as a Baldwin Wallace community, that we can be a part of the celebration of his life by hosting the calling hours at Earthsprung Gym on Friday. So I think that's important to say as well before you bring some of our great student athletes, one of which was blessed to have known Dave and swim for Dave. So
give us one more time the timing of those calling hours. Is it 3 to 8?
3 to 8 p.m. this Friday, yeah.
Be at Earthsprung Gymnasium and open to the public. So if you want to come and say goodbye to Dave, we'll have a chance to do that here on campus. All right, always tough to transition away from news like that, but felt with the impact that Dave made that we needed to recognize that right off the top of the show. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll move on with our program.
Brendan, I appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, while Kayla McClintock gets ready to join us in just a moment, want to give you a quick look in reverse at what BW has accomplished here over the past week. The Yellow Jackets, Kayla, just 1 second, she can join us here. We had our last show last Monday, so a couple things to recap here in this past week, including a victory at Heidelberg for our wrestling team on Tuesday. Notable because it officially locked up the OAC championship for our wrestling team. They have won 6 of the last 7 OAC wrestling championships. Very proud of what they've accomplished. Wednesday night was an awfully exciting night for Yellow Jacket basketball. A pair of overtime wins. The women on the road, the men at home. In fact, the men did it in double overtime in an incredible finish. The men won 91-85. The women with a 64-58 victory. The women ended up with 2 wins this week. They also won on Saturday. More on them in just a moment. Wrestling team had a Friday afternoon contest down in West Virginia. Fell a little bit short, 36-9 against a Division II program, West Liberty. The men's and women's track and field team had their mid-February meet on Friday, and those were unscored results officially. On Saturday, the team then transitioned to Otterbein, the track team, and they had their All-Ohio Indoor Championships. Good showing for the women in particular, 5th out of 16 Division III schools that competed. The men finished in 13th place out of 18 institutions. Basketball team had Muskingum on Saturday. The women with a 63-50 win over the Muskies. That's good because the women continue to be the top of the league right now in the OAC, and they are number 10 in the country coming into tonight's D3Hoops.com poll. We'll try to get an update for you if it breaks during the show where those ladies finish up. On the tennis court, the women's tennis team had a long match out in Medina against Shawnee State and ultimately fell 5 matches to 4, but a really good start to the season for those young ladies. They competed really well in some tough competition there. The Yellow Jacket volleyball team played twice on Saturday and unfortunately came away with a pair of defeats to 2 really good programs. They lost to number 7 nationally ranked Rutgers Newark and to number 14 nationally ranked the Cardinals of St. John Fisher. Those are both in straight sets. And on the men's basketball court on Saturday down in New Concord, Yellow Jackets beat the Muskies 72-65. And then on Sunday, the volleyball team was able to split their matches. They lost to Nazareth on Sunday afternoon before beating Polytechnic Institute of New York 3-2 on Sunday evening. And the wrestling team had an unscored match over in University Heights at John Carroll. So that brings us up to speed here tonight, and it gives us a chance to bring on Kayla McClintock. So come on in, grab the headset, here we go. A rousing round of applause. Kayla, it's great to see you, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good, good. Hey, first of all, this is a kind of a fun week for you guys because, you know, you kind of train all year long, and you've got the OAC Championship finally here this week.
Yep, and we are so excited.
I would imagine that considering what you guys have been through the last 2 years, to have a conference championship meet that feels a little bit more normal is probably a pretty welcome sight.
Definitely. Last year we were thankful we got through the season we went through last year with COVID and everything. We did do OACs at a different pool. This year we're back at Akron, and it's my third year at Akron, and it's a great pool and beautiful atmosphere and the fans and everything. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited to see everyone do so well, their hard work pay off and everything. It's going to be awesome.
I don't want to make any assumptions. I know this is your senior year.
Yeah.
Is this your last go-round?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think I peaked. So, but I love swimming. I'm definitely going to miss it. I've been swimming for 15 years, so it's just been an awesome ride. I don't know.
What do you hope to accomplish this week, or do you not try to think, too big picture about the fact that it could be the last meet for you?
Personally?
Yeah.
I think we have big goals set for our 800 free relay on Wednesday. We kind of all know what we need to go for that, and Wednesday I have the 400 IM, or Thursday I have the 400 IM. This is my second year swimming that, so it's kind of different for me. I train distance, so 400 IM is different for me, and I'm excited about it. Hopefully I can earn some points for them, and Friday is the mile, or the 500, and then Saturday is the mile. So
got a long meet.
I know. It's a long one.
Well, and so give folks an idea who maybe aren't intricately familiar with a conference championship like this, how difficult it can be to swim potentially 3 or 4 days in a row, and to be doing, in your case, both distance and sprinting events. I know this year you've set a career best time in the 50. I'm not sure exactly what you're going to swim this weekend, but just the challenge of kind of going back and forth in events like that.
It is guaranteed that we all swim at least 3 days. So it's definitely, some of us twice a day. It's definitely taxing on the body, but we've been training for it all year. We are 100% prepared for it, and that's why I'm so excited, because we're all going to show out, and it's going to be amazing, and everyone's going to go best times, and I can't wait to see everyone achieve their goals and set new ones for next year. With regards to sprinting, I train distance, so literally anytime I sprint, I get a best time, because it's like, I don't know, I mean. But, yeah, I'm definitely focusing more on distance this year, and the 400 AM is kind of just a throw out and see how I do.
Sure,
so.
Sure. How do you break down in your head what events you try to peak for? Obviously, you want to swim your best every time you go out, but everybody has 1 or 2 events where they're like, that one means the most to me. If I could finish with my best time in that event, and if I have to sacrifice a little something in a different event, how do you go about that process?
I think I've always had the mindset where I have to do well in the mile. Obviously, I want to do well in all of my events, but the mile is just special to me, and I don't know. It's something that you feel proud of when you finish. It's something. It's challenging. It's I don't know. It's just my favorite event personally, and I get excited about it every year. And I'm hoping to go lifetime best. I don't know. We'll see. But
do you remember the first time you ever swam that right?
Yeah, I do. I was young, and it made me so nervous before. But like I said, you feel so accomplished after you finish. So I mean, it's something that I love feeling, and yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the team perspective, right? I know you guys have been working hard as a group, and you get training trips to Florida most years. I know that obviously worked out this year. Last year, not so much. But you think about the team bonding and how the season moves along to kind of like climax at the conference meet.
Yeah.
What part of all of this week do you look forward to most when you think about your teammates?
You know, last year we didn't get to go to Florida, which was because of COVID. This year we went. It was amazing. We had such a fun time, but Florida is also very, very challenging. And the whole season overall is very hard. However, like, we all bond throughout that entire process, and we work hard and definitely put in the time. And I know it pays off for everyone at OACs, and that's the best part, to see how happy people are whenever they're finished. It's amazing because you know how hard they worked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit about your background on your story that brought you to BW. From Pennsylvania, decided to come to school in Northeast Ohio. What was the journey like as you tried to figure out where the right place was for you, and why did BW fit that mold?
You know, to be honest with you, in high school, when I graduated, I wasn't sure if I wanted to swim or not. I loved swimming. I just didn't know how I could juggle college life with swimming, but I thought I could do it. So I kind of searched around at some schools, and I found BW. BW was actually the first school that I visited, and I knew right when I came on campus that this was the place I wanted to be. The people are so kind here, family atmosphere. It's small, it's perfect. The campus is beautiful, and when I had moments with the team when I came to visit, they were so personable, and it was like a family, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Give us an idea of how your family has been part of your journey, and how going to school not terribly far away from home has hopefully given them a chance to support you in the pool.
Yeah, my family has always been there for me, and I love them so much. 2.5 hours is, it's a good ways away. I mean, not terribly far, but it's a good distance from home, and I appreciate them coming to support me whenever I swim or coming to visit me in general. I know how difficult that could be sometimes, and I know my boyfriend comes all the time too, and I appreciate that. I don't know. It means so much to me.
That's pretty cool. I'm glad they've all been a part of your journey.
Yeah.
Academically, as you start to think about, maybe winding down your undergraduate time here, what are some of the things that come to mind when you smile about BW?
What comes to mind when I smile about BW? Definitely just the memories I've made here. I've made so many memories with people, and it's easy to meet people here and make friends. Everyone's so personable, and I think about all the great times that I've had with my teammates, and I can't even count the amount of times that I've just smiled just thinking about a memory here. I don't know.
That's awesome. Before we start talking about Dave Tressel, why don't we ask you about Coach Demeline and just the impact that she's had on your time here, and how, both inside the pool and out, how she's kind of helped you grow and achieve what you're looking to.
Coach has definitely become, I can speak for everyone when I say this, that she has been not only a coach, she has been a mentor, she has been almost like a mother-like figure to us, and we appreciate her. We appreciate her so much. She does so much for us. She is so supportive, and she pushes us more than we like to sometimes. But
that's the job, right?
Yeah, it gets the job done. We love her. There isn't a coach that I wouldn't. I just love her. I love her so much.
I can't imagine the loss that you guys are feeling with Dave Tressel having passed this week. It was pretty obvious just in our brief conversation before we got on the air that he meant something to you, and I hoped you might be able to share a little bit of that.
Dave was the best. Obviously, we were so sad to hear that he was in hospice, and Coach got to visit him on his last day, which was, I know, so special for her because she's known him for a very long time, and I had the opportunity to have him as a coach for, I think, 1.5 years, 1 year maybe. He was so positive. He was so kind. He always talked about his family. He always talked about how much he cared about this team and BW. And I know my coach told us all the other day how much of an impact he had on our team and how much he shaped it over the years. And I remember the days whenever I would be outside of my old house with my teammates, and last year, and it would be summertime, and Dave would drive by on his bike, or he would just drive by in his car, and he would just give the biggest smile or the biggest wave. And also what's funny is, I think everyone can attest to this, there was never a bad swim for Dave. Dave would always, always, always find something good about a swim. It could be the worst one you've ever done, and he would just, that was great, like, that was so amazing, like, hey, you did good. And it was just like the big thumbs up like this. It was the best. He is amazing, and it's so sad, but we'll forever ever remember him. Like, he was amazing.
So how do you and maybe it's a hard question to answer because it's so fresh, but when someone impacts you like that, you know, and in a meaningful period of your life, how do you keep that memory alive in your heart as you move on?
Well, first off, I definitely want to say that OACs will be very important to us, just because
Amen.
Obviously we want to do it for him. He's so important to us. I think what he did in the beginning and throughout his years of coaching for us, it gradually, like, significantly improved our team. Our team is not the same as it was years before, and it is because of Coach Laura and Coach Dave. And with the, like, classes going and going, it's important for us to remember that and to carry that on and keep that going, because our program is something really special.
I guess we'll just kind of close with this, because you're on the sunset end of your career. Whether or not you come back next year, you made a comment, you've been swimming for 15 years, so whether you have one or two more meets or plus a year, you're kind of getting toward the end of this, and your time at BW is certainly winding down. When you consider where you were coming in as a freshman, what bothered you, what concerned you, what maybe upset or frustrated you, and where you are now, where maybe you look back at some of those things more fondly, if there is someone who is in high school, a junior or a senior in high school, watching this and wondering what it's like to speak with an upperclassman about how your experience can work out well, when you reflect on the frustrating times you had and how it's worked out in your favor, is there a way to maybe alleviate some of those concerns if you would have known then what you know now?
Yeah, I definitely would tell them to take that leap of faith, and, you know, if they're thinking about doing a sport, or if they're thinking about doing a fraternity or sorority or anything extracurricular, I'd say do it. Take the leap of faith and do it. You won't regret it. You meet so many new people, and you learn more about yourself. You become a leader. You become a teammate, a friend, and you learn time management, and you just become more disciplined. You learn more about yourself, and it's an incredible experience. I wish someone would have told me that whenever I was thinking through things like that. And enjoy the ride. It's have fun, and don't take life too seriously when you're in tough times. I don't know. That's all the things that I wish I would have known, because I did all of those. I learned all those through those times. You know what I mean?
The hard way, sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think anybody that was your age coming into college expected to have to deal with something like COVID, taking competition and training away from you. And I assume probably made you feel like it's not something you could take for granted.
That
either.
was tough. Yeah, definitely.
Well, we have had so much fun watching you compete the last few years.
Thank you.
And awfully proud of what you've done, and wishing you all the best here this coming week.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Nice having
All right,
Thank
Kayla
you.
McClintock from our swimming and diving program, getting ready for OACs down at Ocasek Natatorium at the University of Akron. That's coming up this week. Certainly hope you can join the team down there at Akron if you'd like to, or follow along on the live stream. All right, we transition from the pool out to the field, where Maddie Ray will join us. Maddie, we're ready? Let's do it. Time to talk some women's lacrosse as we get ready for the the 2022 season. Maddie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us for a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
This is kind of a fun time of year because there's all this pent-up excitement about everything you've done training throughout the fall and the winter. Considering what you guys have been through with all the COVID cancellations and you know, not really sure what was going to come of last year. Obviously, 2 years ago, there was even more uncertainty. Give us an idea where the team is at mentally right now, going into a year that we certainly anticipate is going to look a little more normal.
Yeah. I think the team right now mentally, you know, our team is really young and they're really hungry. A lot of them have lost senior seasons in high school, and, you know, some of our players have lost some really integral years for building, you know, their confidence on the field and their knowledge on the field. So I think a lot of our team is really hungry going into this season to be able to build on what they have from previous years and what they want to continue to build on.
I know this was not the first stop for you on your college journey, but it's obviously a stop that seems to be meaningful for you because you've chosen to make this your home here. Give us an idea of where Maddie was as a senior in high school at Revere, choosing to go play Division I lacrosse at St. Francis, and then making the decision that coming closer to home was a better fit for you.
Yeah, out of high school, I was really, I'll use the word hungry again. I was hungry to continue growing my knowledge of lacrosse and my skill level. So I thought that going D1 is what was going to put me there. And I found that it just wasn't where I was at the school. It just wasn't the right fit for me. And initially I was choosing between Baldwin Wallace and St. Francis. And so I came back here, and I've found that being here, and I really have made it my home. I mean, I'm here for a 5th year, so I found that I've just learned so much more here as being a person, not just a player. And my coach and my teammates have really helped me grow on that. So being here, this really is my home, and the team that I have is really my family. So I'm glad I'm here.
We're glad you're here too. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Nicole Shoger. Obviously, when you make the decision to transfer, you know, the relationship you can build with a coach becomes a cornerstone of that decision. And obviously, Nicole has placed a lot of trust and faith in you because you're certainly one of the leaders on the team. I would just love to hear more about your relationship with her.
Yeah, so when I was being recruited, I was recruited by the coach prior to her, so I didn't really know Coach Nicole. I just kind of came here, and I was like, hey, like, I really would like to come to BW. And she's like, sure, we'd love to have you. So from there, it took a lot to build my relationship with her. I came in really heavy, really aggressive, and she really, I think, taught me more on how to grow as a young lady. And for me, that is so much more valuable than anything on the field, because I really have looked to her as such a great role model as, you know, I'm growing and moving from college to the real world. She's definitely been like a huge stepping stone for me, and giving me such good, like someone to really look up to in the world. And on the field, she has been really good at leading me in the right direction. Like I said, I came in crazy, so she's really been able to help me harness certain things that I can offer to a team, and really kind of kept me on the right path with that.
Let's focus on the season. You guys finally start on Saturday.
Yes.
And I'm sure, obviously, there's excitement for the season to start, but again, with all of the build-up, with maybe a frustrating year last year with just a whole bunch of things that never seemed to go right.
Right.
You get a fresh, clean slate, clean start. What's the prognosis here as we get ready for the season?
We're very, very excited for this season. Our team is young. Our team is very, very hardworking. So I think that it's going to be a very hard-fought year. We have a lot of competition. The OAC in the past couple years has gotten a lot more competitive than it has in the past years for us in the world of lacrosse. So I think it's going to be all hard-fought battles. But we're very excited for this season, and I think that we have a lot pushing for us this season that we've built on from last year being the year that it was. A lot of things didn't go our way, but I think we've learned to turn that into positives. So I think that this year we're hungry.
Love to hear that. Yellow Jackets get started on Saturday. They've got the Colonels from Center College coming up Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. In fact, the first 3 games of the year are all at home for BW. The following Saturday, the Gators from Allegheny will be in town, and the Jackets will host Oberlin before they hit the road for Colorado. A chance to play RPI and Colorado College in March on a spring break trip. What are you most looking forward to in that trip?
Boston College is going to be there. And my idol is Charlotte North. She's an insane player with a huge power shot. And she's going to be in Denver, and we're going to be able to watch them play. I'm so excited. I'm going to be fangirling.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's not the direction I thought you were going to take it. Very, very cool. It's kind of fun. You get a chance to go out to a place that, doesn't have a whole lot of Division III college athletics. I mean,
right.
The vast majority of D3 schools are east of the Mississippi River. So a unique experience to go out somewhere like that. But obviously Denver is a lacrosse hotbed, and Boston College has got a heck of a program.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool. I'm curious how much you guys as a team watch, the highest level of competition. I realize you played at Division I, so maybe it might be a bit different for you. But do your teammates, are they in tune with the schools in the Big Ten or the ACC, and how do you digest what you see elsewhere and try to make it your own?
Our team is very we're all lacrosse lovers, and I live in a house off campus with 5 of my teammates, and we will have watch parties for different Boston College. They played Northwestern this weekend. We watched it on the bus to our play day this weekend, but we'll have the team over and watch those big games. And our coach will take snippets of different games at those high levels, and she will kind of slow it down for us and show us what she wants certain things on the field to look like, so we can put into play higher level skills and just the ball movement and the lacrosse IQ, stuff like that. We take parts of big programs like Syracuse, Boston College, stuff like that. We look at their plays and we try to incorporate it in what we have as a team right now.
You have the unique perspective of having been on both sides of that coin, where the rest of your team hasn't. Is it just the speed of the game as a difference, or is there a difference in the physicality? Is any of it strategy? Where are the biggest differences between what you see in competition here and what the highest levels of the amateur game look like?
Yeah, I think it just depends on where you're at. I think a lot of it is fast-paced, because when you're at such a high level like D1, they expect you to come in well-polished when it comes to your stick skills and your knowledge and things like that. And when you're at D3s or D2s, it's not, the expectations aren't necessarily there, and those programs will work with you and try and build you into that player. Whereas I think D1, I was expected to be something when I was there right off the rip. And here at Baldwin-Wallace, we're very much a program that we want improvements being made, and we want to grow the players on the field and off the field. And I think that that's a big difference, is when you're up at that level, I don't want to say there's no growth. That's not what I mean, but you are already at that level and you're expected to be at that level all the time.
So how has this current situation made you happier?
It's not, I would say, the play. It's the family that I've made at BW, the team. I have lifelong friends that I just never think I would have made those connections anywhere else. When you're at a higher level, a lot of it is, your life is lacrosse. Here, a lot of it is lacrosse, but the majority of it is you as a person and the connections you can make and the relationships and friendships that you can sustain over time. And that's just invaluable to me, I think.
There's been a noticeable change in Baldwin-Wallace athletics energy and enthusiasm this school year. And I don't know if there's any one specific thing you can point to? I can think of several off the top of my head, and obviously the biggest of them is coming out of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Being able to support your friends and, friends that play other sports, just some different initiatives within the athletic department. But I bring it up because I think the student-athlete support for other sports out of your season has been really cool to watch. It feels like it's been more important this year.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys are hopeful for when you start playing games at home to see fall and winter sports teams out supporting you guys.
Well, look, our games are real cold, so I don't put too much pressure on my friends on other teams to come support us because it's really cold. But obviously that support is really cherished. I mean, like when we're on a hot streak and you can see it in the fans and in the stands and our peers cheering us on and getting us hype, it changes the mood of the team, and I think it really kind of lets that intense feeling ride more consistently in a game than if we don't have other people cheering us on and we rely internally on that. So I really hope that they're there. I really hope they come to support, but again, it's really cold, so they would have to bundle up.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Before we let you go, I guess maybe a little bit more about your academics. I understand you are a biology major. Is that still true?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
It's a tough major.
It's
a lot of lab work, a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it's been a very labor-intensive major, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I've learned so much just being in a bio major. I know there are some majors that are a little bit more narrowed down within. Biology is kind of like an umbrella thing. So I got to test out a lot of different things. I did microbiology and I did genetics, but then on the flip side, I also did botany and natural history of invertebrates. So I worked with plants and bugs. So honestly, it's just been so cool. It's really opened my eyes to what I want to do as a career. And I've been surrounded by some of the smartest people I've ever known, which is so cool.
You willing to share with us some of those career goals?
I'm
not nailing you to the wall here,
yeah, right?
but
So specifically, I was thinking about genetics. I really love genetics, and I really liked microbiology and molecular. So I, was looking into career paths in genetics and genetic research. And then kind of on the flip side, still kind of staying in biology, but I wanted to do pharmaceutical sales or medical device sales. My minor is in sports medicine, so staying with athletes and just kind of staying in orthopedics, that would be also ideal for me as well.
What an awesome combination.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think one of the things that's really unique about Division III athletics is how, as a student athlete, you're kind of supported in that order, as a student and then as an athlete.
Yes.
And I really have appreciated what Baldwin Wallace has done to prioritize that.
Yes.
So I'm hopeful you can elaborate a bit on how, even though you are all in as a lacrosse player, how you've been able to balance what you need to do academically to make sure that you can graduate on time and you can put yourself in the position you want to be in to start your career, because ultimately that's what you're here for, right? To get a degree and get rolling with things post-grad.
Right. Again, I will say a lot of it is the family base that I have on my team. I look to people that have already graduated a lot for my biology major. I have a few friends that have graduated that were on the team, and now they're pre-med and stuff like that, but they've taken some of the classes that I've already taken that I've had a hard time with. And I reach out to them every so often, and they will help me and guide me in the right direction. I'm also very lucky to have the coach that I have, and although lacrosse is the priority, she also very much prioritizes us being students. And so she will work with us if we have to have meetings with our teachers or we have projects going on or whatever it may be. She's very forgiving when it comes to that stuff, just to make sure that we have everything nailed down. And if we need help, we can always go to her and ask for any resources that we may need along the way.
Maddie, I know you didn't start your career here in Berea, but we are awfully proud of what you've accomplished here, and glad that this has become an important place to you and a place that we feel you're giving your best effort, but it seems as though it's being reciprocated, the school giving back to you the same way.
Absolutely.
Thanks for spending some time with us. I hope it's a great start to the season. Would love to talk to you along the way this year as things continue to go well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. We are very excited. I'm very excited.
All right. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
All right. Maddie Ray of our women's lacrosse team as the Yellow Jacket ladies get ready to rock and roll starting this weekend. It's a Saturday season start with the Center College Colonels coming up at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. All right, we have one more special guest, and we're ready to bring him on board. It's the brand new head coach of our men's lacrosse team, Tony Tatro, joining us. Tony, what's going on?
Oh, not much. It's interesting throwing this thing on.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Are here. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it,
I can't believe it's that time of year where we're ready to talk lax.
Yeah, and it's we're a winter sport that kind of gets into the spring a little bit. So.
Especially in Northeast Ohio.
Absolutely.
Give us an idea just kind of where you guys are as a program right now with you having a chance to take over and the vision that you're trying to put together. It's obviously not a new program to you, but a new role for you as you get ready for the start of this first season. How do you think things have gone so far?
Yeah, they've been great. We've been practicing for 3 weeks. We had 2 scrimmages and had really good showings in those scrimmages. The guys had some limitations with practicing inside, but they are not showing any signs of, wear or tear. They're just getting after it. They're ready to compete. So I'm excited for this Saturday when we play Denison.
I know we've known each other for a couple of years, but I'd love it if you could elaborate on just why Baldwin Wallace is a special place to you and a place that you want to be.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a native Akron guy that kind of migrated up to Cleveland, and I love the state of Ohio. I love the city of Cleveland. My dad grew up right down the road in Olmsted Falls, and so it's cool to just be here. And Baldwin Wallace, the guys that we recruit here, the guys on the team, they're just fantastic. The other people I work with every single day, the other coaches are just salt of the earth human beings that want to win, and that culture is infectious, and it's the people. They're just fantastic. The boys, I love them, and they give me everything they've got, and it's a special place.
It's a fun league. It's a fun school for sure, but gosh, there's some really good competition on your schedule.
No doubt.
Obviously, you put together a pretty good out-of-league schedule, but you sort of know what you're getting into in this conference. And as Maddie and I just talked a bit ago, I think it's certainly true on the women's side and the men's side. It feels like this league every year is getting better.
Absolutely.
The sport is not new to the conference anymore, and so I think it's helped recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
The facilities are in good shape. You've got some tradition that you can recruit to now. There's a lot of momentum around it. And I'm curious from your perspective, what do you think the biggest momentum for Yellow Jacket lacrosse is?
I think it's when you look around Ohio and you see teams like Denison and Kenyon and Worcester that have had programs for 40, 50 years, and then going competing with those teams, and not only competing but beating some of those teams. It's a really cool thing that we're in year 10 and we're competing with teams that have been around for 40, 50 years. It's a beautiful sight. It's something I love to see. It means lacrosse in Ohio is getting better. The talent's getting better on our team, and so that momentum, just the recruiting, the players that we have on this roster are pretty fantastic. So to see that growth and development in Ohio, a place where I grew up, I played high school lacrosse in Ohio. I coach high school lacrosse, so it's just continuing to get better at both the high school and the collegiate level, and especially in the OAC where, we're the youngest sport aside from men's volleyball.
Right.
So for us to play a little catch up there, a lot of people, the OAC is a really fun conference for all the sports. I truly believe that it's the most competitive athletic conference in Division III, and we're really catching up quickly in lacrosse. There's no doubt.
Give us an idea of, for fans that haven't had a chance to maybe watch the team in the last year or so because of all the COVID-related challenges. Give us an idea of who fans might be most interested to follow this year on your roster.
Yeah, I think the one that's it's hard to miss is 6'6" Jake Nanoski. He's number 4.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. He's a really fun player to watch. I'll throw out a couple out there. I'm a big defensive guy myself. Number 17, Neil Randall, he's a treat to watch. He's a special player. Our goalie, Joe Storner, he's incredible. He's a great kid. Really fun player to play in front of for our defense. All of our defense, really. I could name off a ton, but I think Jonas Aquila He was a preseason All-American, which is a really special thing for him, and I'm really excited for this year for him especially. 88 Kyler Byerly, he's going to be the fastest player in the field. Doesn't matter who we play. He's really talented as well. So I think what I'm excited about is this roster in general. We've got a ton of talent and a lot of guys that are doing the right things. So you're going to come out and you're going to see a really fast-paced lacrosse game from our side.
I don't want to look too far in the rearview mirror, but considering that you worked with Coach Keeley closely for the last couple of years here, I would love to hear more about the relationship that you guys developed. And I know he's at Cleveland State now, and they just started this past weekend.
Yeah.
But how you feel your time with him has empowered you to be ready to take this with both hands.
Absolutely. Coach Keeley, he's one of my best friends, and he was an unbelievable mentor. He's an incredibly smart lacrosse IQ person, extremely high IQ, and I learned a ton from him. The first couple years working with each other, we had our, we had to work to build that relationship. But as soon as we hit that year 3, we were operating on all cylinders, and he really gave me the whole defensive side of the ball and said, "It's yours. Go have fun with it." And we created a really special identity on defense. I cannot thank him enough for giving me the opportunity to come back here and work with these young men. And he's taught me a lot. And we still, he played Ohio State last Saturday, and we were texting back and forth, wondering how that was going. So yeah, we keep in touch just about every week.
Let's turn it back to the upcoming season here, and just sort of what you guys have put together out of conference in the beginning of the year, the challenge of the games, and sort of what you hope to get out of the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely a gauntlet. We've got Denison, Washington Lee, Southern Virginia, Grove City. They've already played a couple games, had a really good weekend. So those 4 teams are extremely talented. And for me, it's just giving the opportunity to the boys to play some of the best teams in the country, and really prepping for what's ahead in the conference, because our conference it's a really special conference. There is not 1 or 2 teams, and that's it. Ohio Northern's going to be good every year. Capital, Otterbein, Mountain Union's getting significantly better. Everybody's raising the bar. So for us to go out there and play top 20 teams, that's a really great experience to prep us for the end of the season. There's no doubt.
I noticed you didn't mention your Crosstown Rivals.
Yeah.
I bring it up because I think it's become one of the more fun rivalries
Absolutely.
in the league, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what sport it is. The rivalry's there.
Absolutely.
But in men's lacrosse, it's been super competitive.
Yeah.
Some heated moments, some really tough, physical, fast games.
Absolutely.
That for maybe non-lacrosse fans, it's a captivating thing to watch because it's easy to follow and want to get behind. How has being a part of a rivalry like that helped make you a better coach?
Yeah, it's fun. They are a really well-coached team. They're extremely well-coached, and to go into that and game plan for that game is a really fun thing. I think for us, it's just keeping raising the bar of what we're doing. We've gotten them every year since I've been here in the regular season, and they've gotten us in the postseason. So we're trying to flip that on its head. I'd like to get 2-2, but if they beat us in the regular season, we get them in the postseason, I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Fair enough. The season starts on Saturday on the road at number 19 ranked Denison. It's a 12 noon start time for game 1. The home opener will be the following Saturday, the 26th of February, with Grove City coming to town at 1 o'clock. For folks that are interested in coming out to see the games, what's the best way to make sure they can secure tickets to come on out?
To my knowledge, it's I don't know, Coach Thompson, Steve Thompson's done a lot of stuff with ticketing stuff, so I don't necessarily know about the ticketing for this year for being outside. What I will tell you is to dress warm, because the weather's not going to – we always say it's 75 and sunny to our team, but that's not the case to the spectators. You're going to need to dress warm.
Oh, we can't wait to see you guys get going and look forward to visiting with you out throughout the spring. Good luck, and thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it, Brendan. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tony's getting ready for year number 1 as the men's lacrosse head coach in Berea. We're glad that he stopped by here to have a little fun with us tonight. Best of luck to Coach Tatro. All right, for the week upcoming, as the Yellow Jackets get ready for an important week on the basketball court, Wednesday night, the rivalry renews with the Yellow Jacket ladies at home against John Carroll. The men's team will be on the road. Thursday, and I should say Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, is the OAC Swimming and Diving Championships, which are held at the University of Akron. On Friday, the men's and women's track and field team will be competing over at Case, part of the Ed Finnegan Greater Cleveland College Invitational. And then Saturday is a very busy day for Yellow Jacket Athletics, because in addition to the men's and women's lacrosse seasons getting underway, it's also the baseball season opener. And on the turf field over at Fisher Field, the baseball team is going to host La Roche. It's a really big day. Yellow Jackets have a doubleheader with games scheduled for 11:15 a.m. and 2:15 p.m. If you're going to come to that one, dress warmly. But we certainly wish the Yellow Jacket baseball team the best of luck and look forward to catching up somewhere along the way with either Coach Harrison or Coach DeAngelis. The basketball team's also competing on Saturday against Capital. Women's team will host Capital at 2 o'clock. And the men's team will be down in Bexley for the final game of the regular season. The men's volleyball team competes against Olivet at home on Saturday night, and they will host Adrian on Sunday at 1 o'clock. We'll be right back here on Monday night to tell you how the week went last week. All right, before we wrap up, let's see if D3Hoops.com has updated the national poll for the ladies. It usually comes out right about this time, and has not yet been finalized. So at the moment, the Yellow Jacket ladies are still number 10 nationally ranked, but perhaps by the end of the night we'll see them move up in the poll. I know at least one team ahead of them lost, and the Yellow Jackets won twice, so decent chance that they move up in the D3 Hoops poll. All right, that'll wrap things up for tonight. We really appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us here at Mike's Bar and Grill. Had great conversations on the swimming side with Kayla McClintock. Certainly with our athletic director, Steve Thompson, remembering the now late and great, certainly great, Dave Tressel. Reminder, Friday from 3 to 8 over at Ersprung Gymnasium. If you're interested in stopping by to say your final goodbye to Dave, we'll have a memorial service for him, some calling hours on Friday. And then also, obviously, had great conversations on the lacrosse front with Maddie Ray and with Coach Tatro. I'm Brendan Gulick. We'll see you again next Monday night at 7:30. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of the night.